Okay, so another way that you can maximize your backdrops is by printing on these. I discovered this when I was doing my 100 days project, where I was creating color notes or color palettes for 100 days. And so I decided I was going to try to print on these, and I found that they made amazing sheets of paper that you can print on, cardstock that you can print on, because again, they already have the lovely goodness here. And so you can kind of see like all of this stuff. So all I'm going to do is just print on this. I've already printed one before. So here is one of the other ones that I printed. I just printed this one, and they're beautiful because they already have the goodness on the back of it. So I'm going to print another one. I'm going to use this one for something else, but I'm going to print on this one as well. But I want you to see the before and after because I forgot to do this one. So I'm going to print again on this one. I don't know what side I'm going to use. I'm probably going to use this side though, because maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to print on it, and then I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay? Okay, so I printed an image that I created on my in Photoshop, and I just printed on this, and I printed in color because I wanted you to see that you can also print in color on and use these as your backdrop. And so I think it's just really beautiful because it already has the like distress or grunge vintage type paper on the back, and we're just adding just yumminess to it. And so another way to maximize your paper, your backdrops, is to print on them. And you can do a lot of things with these. So here's a couple of examples. Yes, I just think they're beautiful. My printer that I used is a laser jet. And so I imagine this will work with inkjet as well. You just have to just be really careful when you are adding any sort of wet medium to it. But essentially, that's what it is. It does it, and it's gorgeous and it's beautiful. So use your backdrops as just regular printing paper for your creativity. It works really, really beautiful. Okay. Okay. So the last two ways that I think, well, I guess it's really one, but I'm going to break them up into two. The last two ways that I think you can use your papers as, or maximize your backdrops is by utilizing some wet mediums on them. Okay. The first one that I think we should use is Distress Crackle Paste. And I think my Crackle Paste is actually dried up. Oh, maybe not. We're going to use some of this. So I think you can maximize your papers by utilizing some of our distress paste, because I don't think people use these enough, honestly. And I think when you add these to your backdrops, they create some really, really amazing pieces of work. So I'm going to use this one right here, and I'm going to add some crackle paste onto this. And my crackle paste is like on this last whatever. So all you need to do is just, do this on here. And I advise people, or I would advise you, that when you're doing this to do, you don't have to go like all the way through. You can, you can leave some open spaces here. I probably shouldn't have done too much of this, but I got a little excited. So, so just kind of like go. And you don't want to put anything on here before you add your paste, because it's not going to work if there's like, collage mediums and stuff like that. So I would say you want to just sort of, and this is not spreading as easily because it's kind of drying out, honestly, but just kind of go around it. and maximize your paper by adding some distress paste to it with the images you printed on, and it's just going to create a really cool effect. Trust me, it's really, really cool when you're done with it. So I would also put some just like kind of on different parts of the paper just to kind of add some yumminess to it. And kind of go from here like that. And I just think that it's just really, really gorgeous when this dries and crackles for you. Again, don't be afraid to add some crackle onto your work, because it's really cute. Okay. So this, I think, just opens the door for something. So you had a blank, blank sheet of paper, a blank backdrop before. You printed on it, and then you add some distress crackle around it. And baby, let me tell you, when this thing dries and you add some additional things, which I'll show you in a minute, it's quite delicious. Okay. I can already see it crackling here, but it's really, really pretty. So I'm going to let this dry. And then when it's done drying, I'll come back and show you how else you can kind of maximize this whole entire project, okay? But the main thing to remember is that you can print on your backdrop and then maximize it by printing on it first and then adding some crackle paste to it. So that's another way you can maximize your papers. Okay, and then the last way that I think you can maximize your backdrops, again, is by using another wet medium. I've printed on this one, like I told you guys. You can maximize it by first printing on it. But now I think adding something else, it just takes it to another level for me. So what I'm going to add, and this is how I think you can really and truly just create something really unique and beautiful. I'm going to add some acrylic gesso. Hold on a second. Let's get this thing to... Okay, acrylic medium, acrylic gesso, clear gesso. Okay, I love Liquitex. I don't recommend any other ones because this one is just the yummiest to me. And so I'm just going to pour some on here. And I'm going to just grab my brush and I'm going to brush this all over and let it dry. I need a paper towel. Okay. And acrylic disc gesso gives your paper a really yummy texture that is super delicious for other things. So I'm going to grab this and gesso the entire thing with clear gesso. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see here. You don't have to put a lot on here, you guys, so don't go crazy with it. But it's still, at the same time, put enough where it's not like you're being stingy with your gesso, okay? Like, you want to put a decent amount on here, but not like to the point where it's going to take 5 hours to dry, because that's just ridiculous, okay? Like, we don't need none of that. All right. So I'm going to put this aside and let it dry, and I'll be back to show you what we can do with this now that I think is just really, really beautiful. I was using these to, I was using this on my, for my, what's it called? My, what can I think? My color notes. So I'll show you, let me show you some of the images that I did. So you can see why I love this so much and why I think it's a fantastic way of maximizing your backdrops. Okay. All right. Let me grab my book. All right, so this is my book that I did with for my color notes, and I wanted to show you what gesso does for me. So this paper is gessoed also, and so you can still add color to it. So I just think it's just really, really gorgeous. I'm trying to find, so this one is gessoed as well. This one's gesso, and I added some texture paste to it. Now, I will say that you can add texture paste to it, but it's going to come off, okay? Because texture paste does not really like gessoed paper too much. So you have to kind of be careful with that. But I'm going to find, all right, so here's another gessoed one. And I think, again, I always say you can just use this as a backdrop to create something beautiful, like maximize your backdrops by using it as a backdrop for your art. So here's a collage that I did, and I added, this is was for one of my color notes. I added the colors to it, and I think this is really beautiful because you can add like paint and things on top of your paper. So this is not, because it's gesso, this is not going to, like rip or whatever else, because it had something for the colors to grab onto. So I think it's just really, really beautiful. And I think that this is, just imagine like a book of all of these, right? Like these backdrops really give you options of creating something that is unique and, already has something on the back of it that you don't have to worry about doing too much stuff. This is another one that I did that I printed on this. So I printed a bee onto the yellow paper, and then I added the colors onto that. So you really can do a lot with these. You're not limited by them. I think they're perfect for creating just something unique and something amazing. Here's another one I've gessoed. This one is actually printed on, I think, a regular paper actually. But let's see. Yep, I use the backdrops as a piece of, something to do art on. So, I mean, it really just, it gives you, there's so many options for this that I just think that you are not limited by them. I'm looking for a very specific one, actually. I don't know which number that one was, but let me see. Again, I printed on this one, and I gessoed it, and I painted on this backdrop as well. Where is that one at? It matches the one that I'm working on right now. Here's another one that I did over here. This is a backdrop, printed on this one. This is a backdrop. Let's see. Nope, that's not a backdrop. But, okay. Backdrop that I printed on as well. And I printed this image on there, and I used a little frame on top of it. Where is the one that I'm looking for? One that I use with the same orange type paper. This is a backdrop that I used. I printed this map on it and created a color note from it. Here we go. So here's the other one that I created. So I printed on the oranges on this one. This one's a lighter paper. And then I gessoed it and created this nice little piece. I don't know. I think they're really, really beautiful. And I just encourage you to print on your backdrops. Like, they're just the neutral ones. I think I will purchase the neutral one, or the neutral backdrops, volume 4, over and over and over again, because those neutrals are perfect for like printing on and doing a lot of things. So I wanted just to show you guys that, here's, again, you can change the color of the background. You can print on, color, like actual solid color paper. It's kind of up to you what you want to do there. So I really just love those. All right, so I'm going to add some heat to this because I'm being impatient. Let's see how we're doing with this one. Okay. Alrighty, so I'm going to let this one dry, and I'm going to come back and work on this one a bit. Okay, so let's see if we can see this now. I'm going to darken this a little bit so you can see. So we added some of our crackle paste to this, and it's looking very, very yummy. Lots of crackle. Don't know if you can even see that, but lots of crackle. You'll see it in a minute. And then we added some all on this as well. So we're gonna grab one of our crayons. I'm gonna use distress crayon here. And this is ground espresso. So now all I'm going to do here now is just sort of like just lightly go over this because I want, actually before I do that, let me do something else. I'm going to actually use some of my ink, ground espresso ink, distress ink, and I'm going to just sort of try to add some color onto this because I don't think this is ground espresso. I got my ink tops mixed up and I don't think, oh, maybe it is. Okay, fine. I'm going to just go through here and just add some color. Now, some of this is going to come off. That's okay. Don't go too crazy on it, first of all, but then you're just going to add some color to this because we're going to just start making this a bit more grungy. Okay, so I've added some of that to it. You can see here some colors to it all around. And now I'm going to just go back in here with my distress pencil, just sort of, or crayon, and ground espresso, and just sort of add more color to this because I want this to go into the cracks of my crackle paste. Crackle paste translucent is also really yummy, you guys. I did that on something I just worked on. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Or crackle paint. Crackle paint is really delicious. It gives you the smallest, like, smallest ever, like cracks. It's so yummy. It's just beautiful. Anyway, I'm just using a little, like, I don't know what you call these brushes. I'm using one of them though. And I'm just sort of going through here and just sort of really darkening the edges of these. And I'll go back in here and wipe some of this off because it's very, very dark. So I'm coming in here, I'm going over a lot of the ones that are on the paper, adding some color to it. You can also use that little brush that Tim sells. I have one, I don't know where it is. It's somewhere around my studio because I don't ever put things away. So there's that. But there's that. You can kind of add more color up here if you want. And again, this is just a way of you like creating artwork that you don't have to worry too much about because all you did was just grab a backdrop and print on it. And now you're just adding some additional yumminess to it, which makes it really, really beautiful. So let me grab, I'm going to grab a wet wipe. And I'm going to come over here and just wipe some of this off. Very, very, not too much because it's going to actually kind of go back white. So let's not get too carried away here. But the parts that are just really, really dark, you want to kind of go back in and just, because I do want to see some of that crackle. You know, I don't want it to be just brown. I want to see some of my crackle. So we can kind of go from there and see. I'm just sort of dabbing and doing whatever, kind of coming along this way. So there we go. Keep some of that in there, and I can just sort of come around and do whatever. So there you have it, guys. So now I would just put this into a journal like this, into my journal, and look at that. It's like already just kind of done for me. And then I could probably put like, you know, a couple of phrases down here, some additional things if I wanted to, just like, you know, maybe some snippets or whatever. And I have another piece, you know, if I want to put like a little journaling card, I can put it over here, and something on this side, like how I did this one. Like, look, what if we did this way? Like, look at that. And it's like already done, you guys. Look at that. You can do the middle. I mean, you can do whatever. You can cut this down. But it's another way of maximizing these backdrops. I'm telling you, print on them and add some texture paste to it. You're going to be golden. Golden, golden, golden. So that's another way you can do that. All right. And then the last way that I recommend you maximize your backdrops, I told you guys before, this is the gessoed one. And so you're going to gesso your paper. But then after you gesso your paper, you're going to use a pencil. And a pencil and a gesso background is like just a wonderful combination, okay? Because your pencil is going to give you the most wonderful smudges in the world. So we're just going to draw a little border around this, maybe close to where the actual border is of the image. And you can smudge this. You see how that smudge is just, oh my gosh, I love that smudge. It's so yummy. But you can smudge it to create more artwork. Look at that. Like, it just gives it such a yumminess. I love it. So even if you want to like just do some like additional whatever, you know, just to kind of like add some yumminess to it or whatever, you can do that. But when you gesso this backdrop with the image printed on it and you use a pencil, it is just super duper yummy. Okay. All right. You can add like, let's add some circles here if we want to, if we're going to add some color to it. And then you can color inside of this, but when you smudge it, look at that. So good. So, so good. I love that. I just love it. Look, I mean, just a smudge. It's like the perfect smudge, right? So this is like one of my favorite ways of maximizing my backdrops, is by doing this and utilizing it in this way. And I just think people sometimes just don't know what they have in their studios when they're buying all these things. And one of the things that I love is I always say that, you know, Tim creates these things for a reason. And I think sometimes we just don't know how to use them, or we don't allow ourselves to kind of be creative in utilizing them. And so we just have these things in our studio, or we just sort of like, you know, think they're whatever. But I love to just try and see what I can do with them. And so hopefully this was a little inspiring to you guys to do something with your backdrops. But that's my last way of what I do. So that's the entire set. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, because it encourages me to keep making these videos, and it just encourages me because I know you guys are enjoying it. So there's that. So hopefully you guys loved it all. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. Again, my name is Natifa. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, evening, morning, whatever, whenever you watch this. I hope you guys all stay encouraged, and I hope you take some time to make somebody's day. So until next time, I'll talk to you then. All right. Bye-bye.